Right now, as you're watching this, the Earth is shaking somewhere. Not tomorrow, not later today, right now.
You know, most of us think of earthquakes as these rare, powerful events that happen once in a blue moon. But what if I told you the real number is so big, it means they're happening almost constantly? The answer might completely blow your mind.
All right, so what is that number? Let's dive right in and look at the hard data from the scientists who track this stuff every single day. And prepare yourself, because this number, it really changes how you think about the ground beneath your feet.
That's it. 500,000 earthquakes. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, scientists detect around 500,000 earthquakes across the globe every single year. It's not a once-in-a-while event. It's the constant hum of our living planet.
I mean, let's just try to wrap our heads around that for a second. That massive number breaks down to more than 1,300 quakes a day, more than 50 every hour. That means somewhere on Earth, the ground is shaking almost every single minute of every single day.
So the obvious question is, if the planet is shaking every minute, why isn't the ground constantly moving under our feet? Why don't we feel all this activity? Well, the answer comes down to the difference between what's detectable and what's actually felt. Okay, so here's how it breaks down. Of those 500,000 detectable quakes, only about 100,000 are strong enough for people to actually feel them. And out of those, only about 100 per year cause any real damage. So the vast majority of these tremors are completely silent to us. Think about it like this. Your phone is constantly receiving background data signals, right? But you only pay attention when you get a loud notification or a call. The Earth works in a really similar way. It's always active, but we only notice the loud alerts, those quakes strong enough to make themselves known.
So, we know most of these tremors are silent, but what's causing them in the first place? To understand that, we need to look at the very structure of our planet's surface.
The Earth's surface isn't one single, solid shell. Nope, it's actually fractured into these enormous, continent-sized pieces called tectonic plates. Everything we see, the continents, the oceans, the mountains, it's all just sitting on top of these moving slabs.
And they are never, ever still. They're driven by the immense heat from the Earth's core, so they're constantly in motion, drifting, colliding, and sliding past one another. It's like this slow-motion dance of incredible power happening right under our feet.
But the movement isn't smooth. The rough edges of these plates snag and get stuck on each other, and while they're stuck, the forces driving them don't stop. So for years, decades, sometimes even centuries, enormous amounts of energy just build up along these fault lines.
Eventually, that built-up pressure becomes too much. The plates suddenly snap and lurch forward, releasing all that stored-up energy in an instant. That energy sends seismic waves rippling through the crust, and that is what we feel as an earthquake. And this activity isn't random. It's concentrated in geological hotspots where these plates meet. The most famous one is the Ring of Fire, a massive belt that circles the Pacific Ocean. It's a geological hotspot where about 90% of all earthquakes and most volcanic eruptions happen. It's basically the planet's most dynamic and active region.
But not all earthquakes are the same. A tiny tremor is a world away from a city-leveling catastrophe. So how do scientists measure and classify the power of these events?
So this is super important to understand. Magnitude and intensity are not the same thing. Think of it like a light bulb. The magnitude is the wattage of the bulb. It's a single, fixed number measuring the energy released at the source. The intensity, on the other hand, is the brightness you experience. It changes depending on how far away you are. This table really puts it all into perspective. We get thousands of moderate quakes every year, but just look at the top of the chart. The truly great, catastrophic magnitude 8 or higher earthquakes, statistically, we only get about one of those each year.
This leads us to the biggest and maybe most sobering question of all. With all this data and all our technology, can we predict when and where the next big one will hit? Well, the honest answer, directly from the USGS, is a clear and simple no. We can identify the high-risk zones, but the exact timing now remains one of Earth's biggest mysteries.
So what's the big takeaway here? We've learned that our planet is constantly shaking, driven by immense forces we can't control or predict. So what does that mean for us?
Well, these tremors aren't just destructive anomalies. They are the planet breathing. They're the very process that builds our mountain ranges, carves out valleys, and shapes the continents. They are a sign that we live on a geologically active and dynamic world.
And that's really the core idea. We're all just passengers on these massive tectonic plates.
The vast majority of the time, the ride is so smooth we don't even notice the movement. But every now and then, the planet gives us a sudden jolt, a powerful reminder of the incredible forces at play just beneath the surface.
You know, understanding this doesn't have to be frightening. It can be awe-inspiring. It connects us to the very pulse of our world. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Have you ever felt that pulse? Have you ever felt an earthquake?